rating on Greece. We've got a CCC rating, which indicates a possibility of a future default. So clearly, things are precarious for Greece. That there are indications from, I believe, the communique that there may be some further accommodation down the line from European partners in terms of more flexibility on the package, and we'll have to wait and see if that transpires.
Forecasting Greek GDP at the best of times is, it's an imprecise art, shall we say, or science. It's basically finger in the wind, especially so many years in advance. Is this 124% debt to GDP ratio by 2020? I mean, how accurate is that?
Well, the further you go out with any forecast, the more problematic it becomes, or the more difficult it becomes to rely on. Obviously, all you can do is take a forecasting model and plug in certain assumptions about growth and about their ability to pay down debt. Clearly, one of the things that this deal recently announced has brought them is lower interest costs, so that will help in terms of their servicing ability. They've lowered the interest cost by 100 basis points on all the bilateral loans, but obviously there are other components of it that need to come together as well. As I mentioned, the debt buyback, there's some murkiness about exactly how that's going to be achieved and how they're going to finance it, for example.
I'll get to the debt buyback in a second, but you talked about the flexibility of the package going forward. I presume you were talking about OSI and official sector write-downs. Can you quantify in any way how much the official sector would have to write off and debt to be cancelled to get Greece back on a sustainable debt path?
I mean, it's difficult to be precise on the exact amount of debt that would need to be written down, but clearly, the balance of the debt outstanding now for Greece is very much in the hands of the official sector. There's only about 60 billion or so left in the private sector. Official sector has a much more significant portion of the over sort of 300 billion plus debt load that Greece carries. So clearly, the only way for them to make a material difference to Greece's debt sustainability in the future would be to target the official sector. Obviously, there are rumours about the timing of that and when it might be politically acceptable to Greece's partners. So, we're not expecting that to happen anytime soon, but it's clearly something that is perhaps on the table for a negotiation further down the line.
For example, would it be closer to 100 billion or to 200 billion?
It's difficult to do the calculation in my head on the spot. I would say, 100 billion would be a material reduction in the debt load. It would be nearly a third of the outstanding debt, or getting on for that sort of sum. So I would imagine that would get you somewhere closer to a clearly sustainable debt path.